Doing good. Baseball season is upon us and really excited about that. People are probably tired of hearing us talk about that, but I know we're both avid baseball fans and looking forward to that almost as much as we are looking forward to the beginning of something new um, with the start of the summer and everything. You know, as I reflect on some of the things that we've talked about over the past few months, this idea of total musicianship, I think sometimes, we assume that people are connecting those dots. We talk about a lot of different pedagogical things. We talk about work with tonal energy and the harmony director and this whole idea of, creating resonance and sound and getting chords in tune and working on scales and arpeggios and all those things. But sometimes, I'm guilty, and I'm sure you feel the same way, of not talking about the fact that it all results in the same thing, and that's becoming a better musician. The development of musicianship, right?
Absolutely. Yep, I couldn't agree more. It's all about that end product, but the end product isn't just one piece of music, as we all know. It's developing the individual so that we get all the individuals in our groups to be better musicians. It's kind of that simple.
Absolutely. And as we listen to groups, the first thing that we're always going to be attracted to, most of us, is going to be the quality and the resonance and the blend of the sound. And so that's very, very important. And so that's something that we have to continually revert back to. It's like when you're teaching a beginner, the correct embouchure. We always have to kind of go back to those fundamental things that create those setups for things to be for players to be successful. And so it's always important that we connect the dots. And I guess we could call this session "Connect the Dots to Musicianship," maybe, as I formulate these thoughts in my head. But I think it's just it's important that we're spending time on all these things, not just some of these things. Taking it to that next level. So if we're being able to play a chord in tune, can we crescendo into it? Can we diminuendo out of it and keep it in tune? Can we play a horizontal line with shape and play it in tune with a great sound? It's those fundamental things that make a big, big difference. And connecting those dots for our students is very, very important. But the ultimate goal, I think, Richard, you would probably say this as well. The ultimate goal is to make the listening experience for the audience a pleasant one. And to make the music making process an enjoyable experience. And when students know that they're playing with great sounds and they're playing in tune and they know how to turn a phrase and they know how to be expressive, and the director has done their work and their score study and they understand the piece, and they're influencing the musicians in appropriate ways that allows them to create music, that's a win-win for everybody, right?
Absolutely. And the thing we have to remember too, those of us that are working with students a lot, they can hear this stuff. They really can, and they will notice a difference. If we have the right information, we pass that information along in as positive a way as we can, they're going to use the information, especially if they hear themselves getting better. So whatever techniques you use, whatever scales you use, whatever long tone you use to start your day, it's all about that end product in mind, making all of those kids a little bit better musicians, because then the next time you sit down to read another piece of music, you're already ahead of the game.
Absolutely. And then helping students develop musical ideas. I think it's really a great opportunity for students to problem solve. If they're playing a solo in a piece, talk to them about, okay, how do you feel about the expressive quality here? What would you do? What can you do to make it more interesting to listen to? And let them experiment. Don't feel like you have to give them all the answers. And then you can help them choose maybe the best version of that particular solo phrase that you think, expresses the music in its best way. Give them those opportunities. That's creative problem solving at its best.
Yeah, I agree completely. And that what you said, I think, about giving them opportunities is really important, because we don't need to say to a student, I think you should phrase it this way. Let's see what they do.
Right.
I often will tell soloists, I'll say, pretend like you're in your bedroom and no one's listening. Would you play differently? And they're like, well, of course I would. Okay, well, let's hear that version. And of course people will listen to them play that phrase and they'll usually applaud, whatever, and kids can do this stuff. So we just need to give them the opportunity, or in some ways I call it giving them permission to be expressive, because, they're going to be nervous about sticking out. When they play a phrase, they're going to be nervous about sticking out. So give them permission to take some chances.
Yep. So everyone out there, you have permission to do that with your groups from Randy and Richard. And it just, all kidding aside, we hope you're having a great experience preparing for festivals as they're back as live events in many states. And we wish you all the best for continued success this spring. We'll see you next week on Coffee Talk.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.